Hello, this is the Lord's Legion and welcome to a brand new movie review, and this one was a long time coming because I've been dying to see this movie, as this was quite possibly one of my most anticipated movies of 2018. And of course the movie in question is of course Halloween 2018, or as some people have been calling this movie, Halloween Retold. And like with pretty much every big horror franchise at this point, that a lot of the sequels have been hit and miss, and Halloween is no exception. And based on the trailers and interviews, this one did have a lot of promise, but without further ado, let's begin with this review. Now going into Halloween 2018, I was extremely pumped, mainly because it was going to completely ignore all of the other sequels, and that this movie is going to be the definitive sequel to the original. And given how this franchise had reached a lot of low points in its time, it was very much needed. And I could make a quick retrospect on the Halloween franchise and what I think of each film personally, but to save time for this review, this is how I personally rank each film in order, from my personal most favourite at the top to the film that I hate at the very bottom. And obviously it doesn't include Halloween 2018 because I don't want to spoil it just yet. But the real question is, how does Halloween 2018 stack up in comparison to the other films in the Halloween franchise? And to tell you the god honest truth, not only is Halloween 2018 the best sequel in the franchise by a landslide, but it's quite possibly the best horror film I have seen in a long time. And to me, Halloween 2018 is exactly how you should revive a dead franchise, because it ultimately brings the series back to its roots. And what I find rather great about this story is the fact that they kept everything so simple, straight to the point, yet also effective. Because after the events of the original, Michael Myers was ultimately sent into an asylum, while Laurie Strode could never quite manage to let go of what happened to her, to the point where her life is a complete mess. And then 40 years later, Michael Myers escaped the asylum and is once again causing chaos. And in a way, Halloween 2018 is a huge swan song for Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. And I think this is probably the best we have seen from Jamie Lee Curtis as the character. Because like I said, this movie takes place 40 years after the original, and we do feel for Laurie Strode, because she is paranoid to the point where she can't let go of the past. And we do see how this affects her life as well as her relationship with her other family members. Yeah, she has some badass moments, but above all else, she feels so human to me. While on the other side, we have someone else who is beyond human in the form of Michael Myers, and this movie perfectly captures the spirit of the shape. Michael isn't a victim who has been cursed by a cult or a misunderstood human being who had a tough childhood, but in this movie he is exactly how he is supposed to be. He is meant to be the human embodiment of evil. He is the boogeyman. He is the shape. And they've made Michael Myers a terrifying force of nature again, and I am so happy that they've got him right. Now what I absolutely love about this movie is the fact that it's very slow yet suspenseful, which is much like the original. And the cinematography as well as some of the tricks that they do in this movie is very impressive, and they even do some callbacks to the other movies. And some of the techniques that Halloween 2018 does is so ingenious that it can even mislead you in some areas, and that just kind of adds to the tension and fear. The kills in this movie are also very inventive, yet at the same time it isn't just this pointless gorefest either. Yes, there are plenty of brutal kills in this movie, but at the same time there are some kills that have been left off screen. And like already mentioned earlier, there are plenty of other nods to the other movies, and there are some really clever Easter eggs in there as well that you may not notice unless you are a die-hard fan. And much like in the original, the score in this movie was done remarkably well by John Carpenter, and there are some wonderful variations of the Halloween theme that has been sprinkled throughout the film, and each of these themes have been used appropriately for each scene. The only real gripe that I have for Halloween 2018 is of course its ending. Not that it's bad by any means, but it's just one of these things where the movie just ends. Sure, it's conclusive enough and that they don't do any sequel bait or anything like that, but they did sort of leave the door open for a potential sequel. But even with that being said, if they do go ahead in making a sequel and they put in just as much heart and effort as they did with this film, then by all means make a sequel, so long as there's a good story and it makes sense. But in the end, Halloween Halloween 2018, or Halloween Retold, however you want to call the film, is a major step up from the other sequels. And the film was pretty much everything that I wanted it to be. I love how this movie treated Michael Myers and brought him back to his roots. I also love what they did with Laurie Strode and how it further develops her character. And you can just tell by watching this movie that they really do care about this franchise and how this is a huge love letter to the original. And regardless on whether you just like the original or you enjoyed some of the sequels, or even if you like some aspects of the Rob Zombie movies, I think there is something for everyone to enjoy about this movie. And above all else, Halloween 2018 is the definitive Halloween sequel that we've all deserved. And so for the final verdict for Halloween 2018, I'm going to go ahead and give it a very well deserved 9 out of 10. Because this movie did everything it needed to do and then some. And so long as they can keep this quality up, I am all for having another Halloween movie. Because this is exactly how to revive a dead horror franchise. So what do you personally think of Halloween 2018? Do you believe that this is the best film in the franchise since the original, or do you think that's somewhat lackluster in comparison? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.